Hello, today I'm going to talk about these machines on my table. They were sent to me by the company called LOKLIK, and this is a vinyl cutter which is used for cutting vinyls, and this is the heat press, and you can do a bunch of stuff on these things, including t-shirts like the one I'm wearing right now, mugs, all kinds of creative stuff. So instead of me just talking, let's actually use these things and see how they work. Alright, let's unpack this. I was sent a bunch of stuff in the box. These long boxes are vinyls in different colors that we're gonna test out soon. The small box contains tools for weeding. Inside are the tools for removing the unwanted pieces of vinyl from your design. And this alien thing, which I had no idea what it's for, but we'll figure it out later. This is the mini heat press that I will review at the end of the video. And finally, the LOKLIK crafter. In the box you get a love letter from the LOKLIK company. One of them explains what the company is all about, and the other is a warranty. Then we have the manual, and finally the machine itself. You have to peel off 2 pieces of tape to open the crafter, and inside you'll find another box containing the power cable and the USB cable. Alright, so these things are the cutting mats. They are not included with the crafter, but you won't be able to use the crafter without them. It's a little bit confusing, but if you're getting the crafter, be sure to order them as well. They have a sticky surface and they come in 3 different gripping strengths. Alright, so let's turn it on. This is the power button, but if you just press it, nothing will happen. And it confused me for a second, but then I realized that you gotta hold the button for 2 seconds and then it will power on. This button will pause your current cutting job. This button loads or unloads the cutting mat, and this I have no idea. When you power it on, the crafter will do this little happy dance. Okay, so this is a pen holder, and if you have the pens that fit into it, the crafter can first draw your design and then cut it. But I didn't have any, so I couldn't test this out. And this is the blade holder. It holds one of these 2 types of blades. They have a slightly different angle and are used for different types of materials. I used 45-degree blade, as that one is for vinyls. You just push it in and push this button, and somehow, magically, it holds the blade in. Put the blade holder in the holder for the blade holder, and the machine is ready to use. Oh, and I plugged the USB cable into the crafter and into my laptop. To use the crafter, you need to download the free software from their website. I also made a short tutorial on how to use it, but I put it at the end of the video because it's only useful to people who own these products. Alright, let's cut something. First test will be for permanent adhesive vinyl. That's basically a normal sticker material. I glued a piece of the vinyl on the mat, placed the mat into the crafter and pressed the load button. I have this logo of a random band. I scaled it to a desired size and clicked on Add Task. Then I chose matte permanent vinyl, as that's the material I'm using, and then started the cut. The crafter is very silent when working. The only thing you can hear is the slight buzz of the servo motors, so it's totally okay. And it's pretty fast. This was about 30 seconds of cutting. Here you can see the weeding tools in action. The pointy top is very handy for picking up the vinyl. Oh, and here's that alien thing. It's actually for collecting the tiny pieces of vinyl, so you wouldn't lose them, all over the work surface. It's a very interesting but practical design. I did the same process with the white vinyl, but I made these letters slightly larger. Now it's time to transfer it. I want to put the logo on the back of my phone, and for that I need to use the transfer tape. I cut out a piece of tape, taped it over the vinyl, pressed it a little bit for better adhesion, and peeled it off. If the tape doesn't pick up every letter, you can just press it a bit more until it works. It's not a big deal. I glued it on my phone, peeled off the transfer tape, and that was it. Again, I repeated the process for the red vinyl, and there you go. I had a cool new design on my crappy old phone. So that's how you use permanent adhesive vinyls. The next thing I'll test is the heat transfer vinyl. These vinyls are meant to be used on fabrics and need to be heat treated. The important thing to say here is that you want to place it shiny side down and matte side up. Ask me how I know that. Let's just say this isn't my first try. So I figured I'll make myself a t-shirt that will promote the new film we made. It's always good to spread the word about your own work, right? Another very important thing is, when working with heat transfer vinyl, you always need to mirror your design. Ask me how I know that. HTV stands for heat transfer vinyl, I wasn't really sure which one to pick, but the settings are pretty much the same for all of them, so I just chose one and it worked fine. I started the cut, and I tried to film how it's actually working. The servos are moving the cutting head, and you can see the tiny blade inside, and it's, you know, just spinning in any direction that it's needed. It's pretty cool. Then with the help of the weeding tools, I weeded the design from the unwanted pieces and repeated the whole process for the main title of the film. I will use this opportunity to repeat two important things, which are always put shiny side down and mirror the design. Okay, so now we have the design prepared, but to actually press it on the t-shirt, we need this thing. This is the auto heat press, and it's the thing I was probably most excited about, because I always wanted to make my own custom t-shirts, but was always too lazy to go to a print studio for just one t-shirt, right? And now I can do it at home. This thing is really heavy, and I was barely able to get it out of the box, which I guess means it's well built, and it will be stable when you use it. The dimensions of the heat plate are 38 by 38 centimeters, and it can heat up to 210 degrees Celsius, although all the materials I was using only need the temperature of about 160 degrees. It's very simple to use. You need to set the temperature first by pressing the temperature button and then selecting it with up and down buttons. And it's the same with the time value. Press the time button and choose how long it will press your design. Every material you will use comes with instructions in the packaging, and the needed temperature for this material is specified on the paper. The tray pulls out, and then you can stretch your t-shirt on the mat. I just peeled off the design from the cutting mat and stuck it on the t-shirt, carefully measuring on both sides so it will be nicely centered. I added the black letters as well, and then covered it all with a piece of Teflon sheet that was provided. That will act as an insulator and protect the design from too much heat. Then I pushed the tray back in. Oh, and make sure it's pushed all the way in until it clicks, because the machine won't start if the tray isn't locked in place. Then I pressed the start button and waited for 15 seconds. The heat press automatically lowers and produces an even pressure across the whole surface, and in just a few seconds your t-shirt is done. And as a bonus, it's nicely ironed too. All that's left is to remove the transparent foil, and there you go. A custom t-shirt, one of a kind. I was really interested in the thickness of the vinyl, and I must say it's really thin and soft and pretty stretchy, so it's very comfortable to wear. You don't have a feeling like there's something thick glued on your chest, so that's really good. Okay, and the last technique we're gonna try is the heat transfer paper. This is the paper that you can actually print on and then press it on your t-shirt. The hardest thing was to choose what to print, but being a film lover, I went for the Terminator 2 poster, of course, one of the best movies of all time. I found a really cool design on internet, and I figured it will be a good test to see how vibrant the colors will be. My printer is nothing special, it's just a random HP laser printer, and I even have fake cartridges inside because I was too cheap to buy original expensive HP colors. So I'm just saying all this because you don't have to have a professional printer. This is just a random printer that most people have at home. You need to carefully peel the paper from the backing, but really carefully because it's pretty thin and it can break. Ask me how I know that. I again positioned it on my t-shirt, placed the Teflon sheet on top and started the sequence. Once heat treated, the transfer paper is firmly stuck to the t-shirt and the paint is burned in. The colors look great. It's basically the same as it was when it came out of the printer. I tried stretching it a little bit to see what would happen, and it always returned to normal position without any signs of damage. It's a little bit thicker than the other vinyl I tested, but it probably has to be because of the print and everything, right? But it seems it's good quality and, seems durable. And since the paper you print on is white, you can of course apply your designs to shirts of any color, even black. All the t-shirts I made were washed at 40 degrees Celsius, and they were fine. They still look brand new. I can't say what will happen after 50 washes, of course, but so far everything seems of top quality. I even did a test piece on this old piece of fabric and then stretched it as hard as I could, and everything was still firmly attached to the fabric. Even the printed paper withstood the torture pretty well. And I mean, you would never do this to your t-shirts anyway, so yeah. Apart from the auto heat press, they also offer a medium-sized one called Easy Heat Press. The plate dimensions for this one are 25 by 25 centimeters, and you press it manually on the material. And lastly, this is the Mini Heat Press. It's really cute, and it's practical for smaller designs or some pieces of clothing that couldn't fit in the bigger heat presses, like a hat, for example. The Mini Heat Press has 3 built-in heating modes, and you can change between them by pressing the button. It's
compact and light, so you can also use it as a travel iron if you're one of those people that like ironing so much that they want to do it on their trips as well.
Alright, so you saw how everything works. So what's my final verdict? Well, if you're interested at all in making these kinds of stuff, I think these products are good. They seem very well made. The materials that they sell are also of really good quality, in my opinion. As I said, the vinyls are soft, they're comfortable to wear. They seem to withstand the washing very well. And I also glued some vinyl on the mug just to see how that would work. This is not heat treated at all, like you usually would do with a mug. And it was in the dishwasher 2 times already. It's still holding. So yeah, I mean, you can actually glue stuff on the mugs as well. Yeah, and I also think that this thing is going to prove pretty useful in my workshop, because here, as you know, we make miniatures and stuff like that. So I made a little test piece. It's like a sci-fi panel from a spaceship, and I just cut letters from this to use as a mask. And of course, it worked really well. So this is going to help whenever I gotta do some lettering or masking and that type of stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's versatile. You can use it for a bunch of stuff. I want to thank LOKLIK for sending this. If you would like to learn more about their products, the link is in the description. And of course, if you buy anything through that link, it helps the channel as well. Yeah. If you stayed until the end of the video, thank you for watching, and I'm gonna see you next time. Bye.
Okay, so for anybody who's interested, this is the short tutorial for this software. The software called LOKLIK Idea Studio can be downloaded for free on their website. You can choose between Mac or PC versions. And when you install it and open it, this is what you'll see. The navigation is very simple. Middle mouse button is for moving the work area, and Control plus scrolling is for zooming in and out. The first thing I always do when opening any software is, of course, changing the theme from light to dark. Ah, yes, much better. On the left there is a library with free designs you can use, and they are neatly arranged into many different categories. So let's just pick one to see how the program works. You can easily scale the design, and I really like how it shows the measurements in real time. That's very useful. By the way, for you Imperial folks, you can change the units by right-clicking here and then choose inches. Of course, you can also rotate the design, flip it horizontally and vertically, all the usual stuff. Here are 2 viewing modes. One shows only outlines that will be cut, and the other fills the shapes with colors so you can see your design. So, if you would like to cut something, you need to click Add Task, and if your computer is not recognizing the crafter by any chance, just click here on Bluetooth or USB, depending on how you would like to connect, and it should then search for it and connect. The cutting mat I have is 12 by 12 inches, so that's good. And here you can choose the cutting force and speed. Of course, I had no idea how to set this, so they conveniently made a list of different materials that you can choose from, and then it sets it for you. And when you're ready to cut, you just press cut and then start. And that's it. Easy peasy.